Hello, this is Chris. Welcome to part 2 of Sketchup Basics. In this video, we'll be going through the basics of Sketchup Web, which is free and great to learn how to start 3D modeling for your portfolio and your other design work in the future. We'll start with setting it up. Then we're going to be going through its user interface and how to navigate within the space. And then finally, we're going to be building a chair using the tools that we'll learn along the way. So, let's go. Setting up. To get started, simply search SketchUp Free on Google, go to the first link, click Start Modeling, and sign in. I will just use my Google account. We can create a new model with Create New or click this drop-down menu for different templates. Let's click Create New. User Interface. Here is the user interface of SketchUp. On the left are the drawing tools. Here we can select the Select tool, Eraser tool, Line tool, and more. Some tools are grouped, like the arches and polygon section. Click onto it to expand for more options. In the Properties panel on the right side, this is where we can see the properties of selected objects. We can also apply textures here and many more. This is collapsible by clicking on the top right arrow. The status bar on the bottom right has measurements where we can enter exact lengths when modeling. On the left is where you'll find a quick how-to on the tools you have selected. We can also see key combinations with your selected tool. On the top left is where we can name and save our files. The hamburger also has background options like importing and exporting files. Let's name our file right now. I'm going to name this My Beautiful Child 1. We can save by clicking Save. SketchUp Properties. The modeling area is where we will be modeling. Here you'll see empty space and a 3-way axis, nothing else. Let's talk about guidelines and axes. When drawing, we can see dotted guidelines to help us stay on the axes. We can lock our guideline direction while holding Shift. If we drag up, lock our blue axis by holding Shift, we can move our mouse in any direction without changing the axis. It is also important to understand that SketchUp objects are made out of lines and faces, or fills. If we draw and close the shape, it fills it automatically. The last property is the inferencing system. Inferencing is when you hover over an object and you see these node points like midpoint, endpoint, on face, and more. It comes in very useful when trying to find the center of objects. For example, we can draw a cross like this to find the center. Navigation. To navigate within the space, hold the middle mouse button and drag across the screen to orbit around. We can also use the shortcut O to activate orbit, or click here and left-click drag. We can zoom in by scrolling on the mouse wheel, or select zoom and left-click drag once again. To pan, we can go here to left-click and drag, or we can drag the middle mouse and shift at the same time. Panning is essentially orbiting with Shift. Tools and modeling. The first tool is a selection tool. Select tool allows you to select objects by left-clicking on it. We can select multiple things by clicking on it and holding Shift. Double-clicking to select adjacent objects, or triple-clicking to select everything within the object. We can also use box select by holding the left mouse button and dragging left or right. Dragging left selects every object touching and within the box outline. Dragging right, however, only selects the object within the outline. To deselect something, simply click on an empty space. Next is the line tool. To draw a line, left-click to establish a first point and click again for the end point. We can keep drawing until we click Escape. Remember, we can hold Shift to lock our axes when drawing. If we want to draw an exact length, click the first point, drag into the direction that we want, type in a value, and click Enter. Here, I'm going to click my starting point, drag up, and type in 1 feet 4 inches, and clicking Enter to finalize it. Doing the same thing going right 8 inches. Let's close the loop. For the freehand line tool, we can access it here in the Tools panel. To use the freehand tool, we have to click and drag to draw the line, and letting go when you're finished. Let's separate the faces of this triangle like this. Now there are 2 faces. Let's use the eraser tool. To use it, Click and drag over lines to delete it. Let go to confirm the deletion. We can also multi-select with shift clicking using the selection tool and clicking delete once finished. Let's undo everything with Ctrl Z and just delete this line. Next, we'll use the rectangle tool to draw a square from this top left corner. We click to establish the first point, being this corner, and clicking again to establish an endpoint. Let's actually draw a 2" by 2" square by clicking on this left corner, dragging down, then typing in 2", comma 2", and clicking enter. Let's actually delete these lines here with our eraser tool. Another polygonal tool is the circle tool. To draw a circle, click to establish the center of the circle and move outwards to establish a radius. Click again when finished. So let's draw a circle with a 1/2" radius down here. Click for the center point and type in 1/2", enter to confirm. If need be, use the arrow keys again to lock in your axes. Onto arcs. There are actually 4 types of arcs to select from. Let's use the 2-point arc. To draw this arc, we click the first point, move over to click a second point, and adjust. Click again when finished. I actually want to round all these corners here. To do so, click at the midpoint of this line and drag along the second line until we see purple or pink. This tells us the arc is tangent at the vertex. Now for the essential tool for 3D modeling, the push and pull tool. Activate it and click on a face to push or pull as you want. We can push and pull at a set length just like with other tools. Click on a face, type in a value, and click enter. Same thing. But for our purposes, I want to follow this path. We can't use the push and pull tool here because it only goes straight. That's where the follow me tool comes in. So the follow me tool is in the tools panel here. There is no shortcut. This tool allows for a face to follow a set of line paths. To use it, click on a face, then drag your mouse along a line path you want it to follow. Click again to finish. And since we're kind of getting used to modeling, let's make ourselves the center hub for this chair. Draw a circle of 2" radius. Use the push and pull tool to pull it up 1.5". The final modeling tool is the offset tool. We're going to make a center hole on this center hub. To use the offset tool, click on a face to offset the outlines either in or out, and then click again to confirm. So let's offset this face by 1" in. To do so, click on this face, type in 1" and click enter. Same deal. To turn this into a hole, we can use the push and pull tool on the center circle and drag it down so that it is coplanar with the bottom face. This is another property in SketchUp. When 2 faces overlap, SketchUp automatically annihilates both of them. And here's our hole. Let's turn the objects we've made into components. Use the selection tool, triple click to select everything, right click, go to make component. Let's name our little guys appropriately and click OK. If we duplicate a component and edit it, the edits translate to all components. Next, let's move this center hub over to the leg. We're going to be using the move tool here. I'm going to zoom in and move this hub based on this center point. Let's move it over to the leg and zoom in to find the top of the leg. Let's center the leg to the hub vertically. To do so, we can move the hub up on the blue axis, type in 1/4 inch and click enter. Let's also clip the leg into the hub. So move the hub on the right axis by 1/2 inch. Let's use the move tool's duplication feature. To duplicate objects, use the move tool and click Ctrl to toggle duplication. Click on the leg and then move it over and click again to finish. Now you have a duplicate object. We can keep doing this until we're done. The move tool also has a rotation feature. Activate move tool and hover over a group or component to see these plus nodes. Click on them to rotate the object. Once everything is rotated, I'm going to move this roughly to where each leg is supposed to be. And let's adjust each leg so that it is centered to the hub. Finding the top and moving it to the tangent point. So once all the legs are flush to the top and centered to the hub, select them all and move them downwards 1/4 inch. Make sure to use your axes here. Now it's centered. All we have to do now is push each leg into the hub by 1/2 inch, like we did for the first one. So a quick tip here, by the way, the shortcut of K lets you see outlines of objects. Lastly, let's model a seat by making a circle of 6-inch radius. Using the push and pull tool to pull it up 2 inches. To add some cushioning effect, offset the top circle by 1/4 inch and select the inner circle. We're going to move it upwards using the move tool. This will only work, however, if you're locking your move tool by the blue axes using the up arrow key. Adjust accordingly, and we can do the same thing to the bottom. Let's make this a component and name it appropriately. Our very last step is to center the stool top to the top of the center hub. We will use inferencing to our advantage here. So let's draw a center line for the pillow and the top of the hub. Now let's think. We have information for one midpoint on this line and one midpoint on the other line. Now we can move the pillow on this midpoint to match the midpoint on the hub. Use the move tool and click on the midpoint of this pillow. Move that midpoint to the top of the hub and match the midpoints. Make sure to delete these lines so that your files are clean. And that's it, you're done. I know it was a bit fast, but I didn't want to waste too much time. And I know it's cumbersome, but you can always go back to see the points that you missed. And of course, the best way to learn this program, or any other program, is to keep using it and to find excuses for yourself to model everything you see around you, like a cup, a plate, a table, a chair, anything. So that's it. If you have any questions, send us a hello. Otherwise, thank you for watching and have yourself a beautiful day. Bye.